talking about androgyny in the particular aspect that this is somewhat indicating what you are, especially the black man. Naturally it's the black woman, but there's something mystery to the black man we'll get into in a few minutes, and I'm going to show you some bibliography on this to break this mystery in a few minutes. I've been talking about this for years, but I'm going to give you some stuff on that. All right, y'all all right? And I should bring me a podium up in here the next time. Going right along. I just want to get a couple of things to see, a couple of things that we need to do. Now, it's interesting here that in some other iconology of the Christ mystery is that when you see the halo in the Jesus symbology, this Jesus iconology around his head, that was an ancient symbology of the afro. Just like the goddess Medusa with the snakes out of her head is the symbology of dreadlocks, or the locks. Now it's interesting here because the white people picked up on it. You had the Detroit Pistons that came out of nowhere and started back kicking ass with Ben Wallace. You see what I'm saying? And Ben Wallace, number whenever you get the Ben, that's Hebrew for son. You see what I'm saying? Ben Wallace, they had tracked it whenever he didn't wear the fro, they lost. The game they lost in L.A. is when he had his hair cornrowed or whatever. And he didn't wear the fro. But when he wore the fro, they was winning. The white boys picked up on it until during the celebration in the whole week, a 2-week period after, they had the power of the fro. And white folks was walking around with fros in Detroit. I came like the day after the championship. They even had Afro trivia on all the radio stations. Who wore the Afro in Mod Squad? And so if, you know, with us we could call them, but white folks is very hard, so they win a lot of money on the shit. Or who did this fro in this particular band? You see? So they had all this stuff and they was talking about the power of the fro. You see? This was a whole ritual was going on in Detroit, but they picked up on this Ben Wallace thing and the energy. Also, he reminded me of Dr. J when they had the big fro. I said, I ain't watched fucking sports in years. I ain't watched basketball since Dr. J retired. Well, I said, wait a minute, who the fuck that with that fro? And it made me go to the goddamn TV and watch the playoffs because of this fro. Now, when I said, damn, what the fuck going on here? I'm watching this shit here, I'm thinking this Dr. J. I go to Detroit, and they got a whole phenomenon going on, white folks walking around with afros. And talking about the power of the fro. A lot of energy and stuff on the iconology with that whole Jesus symbol and the whole halo thing. You see what I'm saying? Everything is everything. But this is when it is when white people pick up on it. Who are these people come up here and beat fucking LA Lakers? You see what I'm saying? You see, everything is everything. Now, here it is again, some other information. 2 books is out again. One is, what's that guy name that did Mustafa Gadala's book called Tutankhamun, The Living Face of God. And in this book, they talk about that all the stuff that you get on Jesus actually happened to King Tut. You know, he was the one that was the son of the living face of God. They said, and they give all this similarity. Anyway, there's another guy, Ahmed Osman's book out now called Jesus in the House of the Pharaohs. And it's talking about the Tutankhamun thing. So they tying all this stuff in, all this particular information is coming out. This guy's named Ahmed Osman, wrote the book Moses and Akhenaten, one and the same. And it's Ahmed Osman book. Years ago, he also wrote a book called House of the Messiah that they re-released called Jesus in the House of the Pharaohs recently. And in there they saying that's King Tut. the whole Jesus mystery, and Moses is Akhenaten in his 2 books. Ahmed Osman, get his books. You see what I'm saying? And they deal with all of that stuff. They deal with all of that. Very interesting. Going right along. Now, everything that we're dealing with here, with this war and all this stuff on terrorism, this is very clear. I got to tie all these pieces in. They're telling you that they are preparing for a terrorist attack. All of a sudden, they are sure that they're going to have an attack, and they got Homeland Security and all this stuff that's going down. There's a mystery of what they're telling you about the terrorist attack. It has something to do with you, and let me tie it in. Remember, if we agree that this whole 9/11 thing was contrived by the Illuminati, the government, and all of that, and there's so much information on it, I did 2 takes on it myself. Then we got to understand that the government, they don't do stuff not unless there's something behind it, and something behind it because they are all a part of the occult. That they don't do stuff not unless there's something spiritual. Let me give you another example. Everything is contrived. Like, the Civil Rights Movement was a Jewish inception, totally. Now, what had happened was, because I'm going to get back to this terrorist thing now. I'm going to tie you into some stuff. The Jews had to make this suffering thing, a corner of the market on suffering, to somehow steal the birthright of the people who actually suffered, which is us. Because in the text they were talking about a people that in the time of the apocalypse would have come out of a grave and long suffering. Now that ain't the Jews. See what I'm saying? Because that whole history of the European Jews is contrived, including the concentration camps. Now we're not saying like one white guy said there wasn't concentration camps. There was concentration camps. It's just that they selected a group of Jews in Europe to go into the concentration camps and die or whatever, so they could fill the prophecies of the book of what, Daniel? I think it's the book of Solomon. The book of Solomon, of a people suffering so that they could get Israel and now have a free reign, carte blanche all over the earth, because they're supposed to be these suffering people. Stealing the birthright. Meanwhile, we ain't here to looking at a snake, ain't here to look at a snake, and to this day, we're in the mud. You see what I'm saying? Even when we climb to great heights, we're still being exploited. So, they know that we are a suffering people, and they're stealing that particular birthright. So, they knew that if they could have convinced America to not like them as Jews, because they're white folks to us. Can you tell a Jew from another person? They even say that, oh, it's Jews is just a religion. It's not a race. As far as they're concerned, because they kind of say that because they know when you start doing racial shit, we're the original Hebrews. So now, but they got to fake this thing. So as a result, because we know that the Jews started the Ku Klux Klan. We know that based on the South Carolina Anti-Defamation League got in with Albert Pike and started the Ku Klux Klan. There's a whole book called the Ku Klux Klan ADL, or Ugly History, or something like that. Now, the point I'm trying to make is, they knew that if there was going to be this ethnic group that they claimed to be, that in order for them to function in the society, there got to be certain laws that give them the inalienable rights to function as an ethnic group. In that particular case, they knew by the 1920s, at the turn of the century, that they needed a certain laws to function as a group so that they would not be discriminated against and they needed certain civil rights as a result. So what they did, starting with the Spingarn brothers and the Niagara movement, and on into the NAACP, which is all Jewish inception, that they actually inceptionalized and fostered the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement was a movement that they used black people as the foot soldiers to, and also as the image, the figure, to break down these walls that will later on be beneficial for Jews and every other ethnic group. Tip O'Neill said when he was retiring from the Speaker of the House, they asked him, what's the greatest thing you think in the history of America by you being the Speaker of the House that you have witnessed during your whole tenure of the Speaker of the House? He said, I saw every other group in America get to where they wanted to get through with the laws that was made by black people, the civil rights, except the black people. They're the only ones that benefit from it. So the Jews was the one who started the civil rights movement, put you in here to be the head and the foot soldier of it, so that they could benefit from the civil rights laws. And when they got to a certain level of economic stability, then they join back with the white folks and say, cut out the entitlement programs. See what I'm saying? So this is a, now, going back, just want to give you that history, that the civil rights movement was a Jewish operation for Jewish benefits. You see what I'm saying? Now, moving right along. They say that we got to stop terrorism. So they're dealing with Homeland Security, and they'll tell you the movie I, Robot, you just take the damn robots and make them people, and you got it. They lock motherfuckers down in the movie. Gotta go see it. As well as Catwoman. You see what I'm saying? And this Manchurian Candidate, you gotta check that out. We know that's gonna drop. You see, everything is everything. Then they're gonna get the ultimate battle between the black man and the black woman with the alien and the predator thing. The predator being the black man, the alien being the black woman. You see what I'm saying? It's coming out. You see. Keanu Reeves got one called Constantine coming out, where he's dealing with the devil stuff. They're dealing with a lot of esoteric science. Now, they want to deal with terrorism. They're saying that they got to lock down terrorism with Homeland Security. Well, we know that it has nothing to do with terrorists because the simple fact, they blew up the building and the biggest punks in the world is the Arabs. They ain't going to hit a lick out of a damn snake, but get killed. And I'm glad they're killing them slave masters. Right. And that ain't nothing but a slave master. You see, that's got slavery to this day in the Sudan. And now they got Dick Gregg and them going to jail. They want to send the troops into the Sudan to stop slavery, but what they don't realize is the Arabs ain't doing this, the shit in the Sudan. It's American government using the Arabs as the doggone figure of slavery in the Sudan, but it's American government that want that land and oil and any other doggone raw materials that's up in there. So the government ain't gonna send nobody in the war. If they do, it's to kill everything on there so they can take over, because that's what they do also. That's what they did in Panama when they wanted the canal back in 1989. Went in there and blew up the country and got the canal back. It was supposed to go to Panama, the Panamanian government in 89. Now, if we know that there is no terrorism, then what are they talking about? What are they talking about? Everything is everything. Here's a book called Encountering Kali. Encountering Kali. And by Rachel Fell, F-E-L-L, Rachel Fell McDermott, and Jeffrey Kripal, K-R-I-P-A-L. Jeffrey Kripal and Rachel McDermott, Encountering Kali. This book just came out in June or May. in this book, Kali is called a terrorist. Kali is called a terrorist in this book. Now, who is Kali? Kali is known in India as the Shakti power. And the Shakti power is the Kundalini energy that is in the base of the spine of the original Kundalini people that they call reptilians, which is fake. That's a code word. They're calling you the reptilian, and they got everybody scared of a reptilian invasion. But the real reptilians is the people with the real access to the Kundalini. You hear me talk about it for years. Kali is inside of the black woman and the black man. That is the Kundalini energy that, because of Venus that just went by, represents the most potent form. Now, I just heard the information about the 26th is a Mayan lineup, and also a lineup with the star Sirius again, which is what, 2 days away? Well, the 26th, what's that, Tuesday? Monday. Now, all these cycles mean that they know that there's a certain form of reciprocal energy based on these cycles that ushers in the complete realm of the Great Mother. Now, Kali is the ultimate terrorist, which is the energy inside of the Kundalini of the black woman and the black man. Well, if the Kundalini is in the black woman and the black man, then what does that make the black man? Well, let's look. The Egyptologists that we get from most of the last 150 years have been males. And when they would come across this, they would omit it. But the Spirit always does so. My brother named Ed from New Jersey sent me a book. You know what I'm saying? He sent me $40 in the mail, and he sent me a book. So when when I got the book, I thought it was a book from the early 90s that I used to see, but when I opened it up, it was a book from 2002. And this is a book called Egyptian Mythology by Geraldine Pinch, P-I-N-C-H, which is a female Egyptologist. Geraldine Pinch, which means she has something in here that the male Egyptologists omit. And let's read this shit. Now, what this is saying, that you can't front no more with the male chauvinist murder cults you call your religions. Allah, because in here they say Allah is a bitch. And I'm not talking about a bitch as the aspect of a derogative term. I'm talking about a bitch as far as a female, priestess of the dog style. Allah is a woman. But you got to understand, now in the book, Kenneth Rayner Johnson's book, Fuganelli Phenomenon, say if we study Allah and trace it back, in pre-dynastic Egypt, Allah would be Osiris. Now, in her book, it says, this is the book that the guy sent, Egyptian Mythology by Geraldine Pinch, page 178. It says, when and how Osiris was first worshipped is much disputed. It has been claimed that Osiris was originally a defied pre-dynastic king, a primitive vegetarian spirit, a jackal god, and of early Roman necropolis, or a mother goddess. Even the epitome of the name is of his name is uncontained, though it may simply mean the mighty one of death. Now, it says in here, the point was, she has it in one part, that Osiris at one point was worshipped as a mother goddess. A mother goddess. The great mystery here is that it's the difference between the black man and any other man. That's why you are not only a victim of racism, you are a victim also of sexism, because the white man, when he looks at you, it is your sexuality that he feels threatened about. So the black man is equally a victim of sexism. That's why you all locked up in prison. But the mystery here is that inside of the black man is a woman. Now let's go on. In the triadic heart of Shiva, now I'm not talking about homosexuality. Your job is, your masculine side is a form of the goddess. Now, the triadic heart of Shiva, Shiva is ruled by his heart chakra. The heart chakra that's ruled by Shiva, inside of his heart chakra sets a woman, a goddess, that's ruling his heart chakra. So that means that in order for you to get to another level, you understand what I'm saying? You got to start thinking as one with your spouse or with other females. So it means that the gender role has to be destroyed. You have to go to a level of androgyny. Now we're not talking about you becoming gay, because that's a physical act. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a spiritual thought process. You see what I'm saying? Where you have to become androgynous. So that also means that the woman has to become more like the male. Well, that ain't no problem with the goddamn black woman. See what I'm saying and shit like that? You know, I got some marks on my ass now from my mama for some shit back in the damn day. You know, what's that? Yeah, we're all, yeah. But it has to come off of the gender level, whereas you tap so far into beyond gender, so you start thinking alike. So what happens here is, me and the sister, my queen, we think the same damn way. You know what I'm saying? We think the same damn way. You know, and as a result, we become one. You see, but there's no gender thing that's going on here, on either level. And that's what they're talking about here. In order to truly tap into the heart chakra and get what you want, you have to break down the roles of gender. And that don't necessarily mean that in actuality you have to, your physical function is, you as a male is the feminine masculine. So what you are, see, you are the masculine part of the feminine. It's all feminine, because what they don't tell you here is if you get the Enuma Elish, which is the oldest text survived of the creation myth that's pre-dynastic that we find in Babylon, the great mother, that's the turn of the goddess, realm was overthrown. But when you read the text, she had a group of men that was a part of her realm in the beginning. Now it's being shown up. Those group of men have that Kundalini energy inside of us. Now this stuff don't happen anyway. We don't have to do anything. It's going to go off anyway. The mystery here is that Kali is both in male and female. So in Kemet it's the return of Mayat, or Set Mayat, or Setmet, because the Met is Mayat. In Hebrew it's the return of the Shekinah. In Babylon it's the return of Ishtar, or it's the return of Babylon. Because Babylon is a state that is named Babylon after the Egyptian goddess of the pre-dynastic era that was in Kemet. And they traveled up into that Mesopotamia part and named Babylon after the city of the goddess. That's why if you look in the Bible, everything is about being against Babylon. If you look in the last couple of books, Babylon is the epitome of the ultimate enemy. But it tells you in Richard Berlin's book, The Lost Scrolls of Solomon the King, that in Israel, their job is to destroy and hold down the feminine energy, Lilith's energies. Now, the mystery here is Kali is the great terrorist, and the great terrorist is inside of you. So they're saying we've isolated the Messianic group, we're containing it in America, and we're ready when the terrorist thing drops off to have you on lockdown. The great mystery here is, if you go back to this, they put the people on lockdown in the movie I, Robot. And they told that damn idiot in the movie, and he still, at the end of the movie, called himself the dumbest dumb person, because it means niggas never catch on. But in the movie, they said we thought all this shit was about the robot, but how many of these people saw the movie? But it was a part in the movie where they turned to Will Smith and say, but in the prophecy in which the man who built the robots, he said there's a part where we know this shit is all about you. You remember that in the movie? And they showed a picture of a man standing up leading the robots or leading the world, and it was Will Smith. And the nigga was too dumb to understand that ultimately he was the enemy of the state, like he did the movie Enemy of the State. You see what I'm saying? You see. So he was too dumb to know that it actually, they said in the movie, you the key to this shit. So they know that they're isolating it. Now they got all the people, meanwhile, over in Iraq, 1,000 dig sites trying to find a Stargate. That's what the guy, William Henry's book, Cloak of the Illuminati. And now we got his tapes. I think I gave him the devil the other week. The tapes, William Henry's Cloak of the Illuminati. And they're trying to find a Stargate. But the Stargates, they will never find, because that was the Stargate of 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ago. And that was a Stargate that is a replica of the future Stargate, and the future Stargate is twixt the black woman's legs. So don't get fooled by this thing. So they're over there trying to find a physical Stargate. They got 1,000 dig sites. But the Stargate is here, between the black woman's legs. You see? So they're all over there, but it's based on the Kali, Lilith, Sekhmet's energy, which is the terrorists. That's why they link right into terrorism. So all this stuff comes together. You see? It all comes together. Meanwhile, they're talking about the lost goddess in this stuff. Here's another book talking about Mary Magdalene. Here's a book called The Mysteries of the Great Cross of Henday. And they break down all the Merovingian bloodline. Remember in the movie, The Matrix, they say the Merovingian is the one that's holding the key. He had the key holder. The Merovingian is a group of Egyptians that traveled up into Paris by a group of people called the Cathars. That's where you get the word cathedral from. And they set up certain things of the Merovingian bloodline. But interesting enough, they traveled to America during the time of the Revolutionary War, during the time of the, somebody left their lights on in a black trooper. Anybody here got a black trooper? You left your lights on. You know. Well, somebody got some jumper cables, because I'm sure by right now, shit is already done defunct. So good thing you got a whole bunch of niggas with jumper cables. Yeah. This is the Great Cross of Henday. The Mysteries of the Great Cross of Henday. And they deal with everything. They got everything up in this shit. Mary Magdalene, alchemy, everything. The Jesus mystery, everything is up in this book right here. And it's by J. Weidner, W-E-I-D-N-E-R, and Vincent Bridges. You only need one of them. J. Weidner and Vincent Bridges. And it's called The Great Cross of Henday. E-N-D-A-Y. The Cavers in France. That's your Merovingian bloodline. But what they're not telling you is that Merovingian bloodline traveled here in America because the French own part of America. So a lot of this stuff still ends up with us. Still ends up with us. You see what I'm saying? So, dealing with that, the other great mystery is this. Let me see if I got some stuff I want to in here, because they were celebrating they were doing this shit hard up in Detroit. The power of the flow. But then again, on the other hand, Carly is the one, if you see some of her iconology and symbology, she wears the throat. So everything is everything. You see what I'm saying? Carly is also a form of Sekhmet in Egypt. And Sekhmet, Bass, and all of that is what they celebrated in the movie yesterday as Catwoman, at Leo. You see what I'm saying? That's all the Carly energy. And if you saw up in there, she was not taking no shit. You know, and the little guy that wanted can't fuck with you. You too good. You know, I'm a woman that I'm on a mission, and you too good for me. You know, you gonna try to domesticate me again. It ain't even about that shit. And they saw her walking off into the moonlight. As soon as she was walking off in the moonlight, people started clapping. She had that goddamn whip in her hand. You see, it was a sight to see. You see, so now that's very key. I want to give some other things here. Now, when I was here in November, I think I talked about it in this book, The Sufis, when I was here in December. Idris Sayer's book of Robert Graves, and he goes in to say that the Baphomet, which was the head that I wear, I just didn't put it on tonight. You know, that's the Sabbatic goat, or the goat of Mendes or Lucifer that you all scared about. He goes in to say that this goat is, the symbology was a part of the Knights Templar, and the Knights Templar raised that head of the Moors up, the head up, to represent the Moor man. Did it start? Did your car start? Oh, okay. It represents the Moor man or the head of the black man. You see what I'm saying? Head of the black man. That's in this book. Idris Shah, S-H-A-H, which you all scared of that devil symbol, and that devil symbol always meant you. I'm just, you know, what's that? Huh? Oh, see, well, it's interesting here because if it's on the New Orleans Saints, the Merovingian symbol, the New Orleans is one of the key places that was the stronghold for the French. You see what I'm saying? The New Orleans was sold to America by the French. You see, all this, everything is everything. Now, going right along, y'all all right? All right, let me just give a few things I want to. Now, apparently with the mythology is all of this stuff, the great mothers, you can't separate them. There's a book called The Golden Ass of Apuleius. Apuleius is turned into an ass, a donkey, and it represents a man or a woman being held down with their physical bodies, which limits you if you are a god. But it goes on to say that the only hope is when Isis or Auset intervenes, she can raise this particular person up. Now they know that since the beginning of January, the Auset or Isis worm has taken over the whole earth, and this Venus thing represents the ultimate return. You see, that's why it's imperative that you get this book, Isis Magic. The book Isis Magic and all. Because it's imperative you get that. Another book you need to get is this little book called Dreams. Dreams and what they mean to you. The reason why I'm a little $5 or $6 book is because this woman here is well versed into the occult. And a lot of the dream books, they don't know what they're talking about, but this woman here studied the occult. Magine Gonzalez Whippler, W-I-P-P-L-E-R. W-I-P-P-L-E-R. This little book, a little $6 book on dreams and what they mean to you. Because, you know, there's got to be because the reason why I'm giving you the book is, goddamn, I can't interpret all the people that call up and say, I had this dream. You know what I'm saying? I had this dream. So this book here is one of the best ones. A little small book, only $6, $6.99. Dreams and What They Mean to You by Magine, M-I-G-E-N-E, Gonzalez Whippler, W-I-P-P-L-E-R. It's a very key book, because everybody's calling me up about these damn dream interpretations. You know what I'm saying? And some of it is just some regular kooky shit that's going through your mind at night. Everything ain't spirit. But this is the one to get. Now, another book is also this book here, Money Magic by Jade. It works. J-A-D-E, Money Magic. It's a good book. I know everybody needs some money at this time. You see what I'm saying? But unlocking the keys, you want to get to the God level, and this is what you're going to have to do. Okay, this book by Jade, you can get it from Original Publications. Original Publications. Also, now go back in Original Publications, or you can go to www.originalpub.com. Money Magic by Jade. There's another book called that you need to get if you let me get. You need to get a book called Spiritual Cleansings and Psychic Defense. Spiritual Cleansing and Psychic Defense by Robert Laramie, L-A-R-A-M-Y, Robert Laramie. Spiritual Cleansing and Psychic Defense. So I gave you a spiritual cleanse. It's general for all, but they're going to give you one for everything in life in this book. And all, and they talk about psychic vampires. So you're going to have to watch the kind of people right now is real bad, the kind of people around you. What happened is this. You will have a good day where you will have a spiritual, enlightening day. Everything is going right. There's a realm, and it's usually your ego realm that don't, the demiurge realm I've been talking about for years is actually your ego realm. It likes the old self. It wants to still be identified. But your God realm is the one that gave you that good day. Your soul realm. So what it'll do, it will come, and the first thing it'll do, it will attract fucked up individuals to you. Family members, old friends. You know, it will attract fucked up energies. They'll either drain your energy or throw you off course. And it will happen. Fucked up phone calls. Anything to get you off track because you had a good day. And you don't know that that's a psychic battlefield because they can feel the energy and they know the energy on the spirit level. And you having this good day, and the next thing you know, some motherfucker done came and upset your ass. You know, they said the wrong shit on the slide. You know, and it's going to come in just about everybody you can meet. Family members, old boyfriends, old girlfriends, all kind of stuff. Children. You see, those are psychic vampires. And so this book is very good. Particular part here. You know, this is good. There's another good book. Oh, shoot. It just, you can tell? Oh, good. I turn it this way. Yeah. This technology and shit. Let's see. There's another book, The Path of the Priestess by Sharon Rose. Excellent book. The Path of the Priestess by Sharon Rose. I'm going to name a few in a few minutes. So a few in a few minutes. Okay, hold on 1 minute now. Because I got to get to a couple other things. Couple other things I don't want to leave without saying certain things. Let's see here. Y'all bear with me 1 minute. Okay, it's very key because all these cycles that's coming in. You got the Olympian Games that's getting ready to start. Now you just had this Venus transient. You got the war in Iraq that's going on. But you got this Olympian Games that's going back to the first Olympian Games because Greece is holding it. And even the governments in them was trying to slow it down. They wanted to not even have it. But they finally got it together, so it's a lot of energy that's going on. In this book, The Seven Faces of Darkness, there's a page to tell you the different days that is that certain things happen, certain spiritual things. Let me see if I can get you some of these right quick. Y'all all right? Hold on 1 minute. They got certain days that certain things happen, and I should have bookmarked the damn thing. I had it, but that, you know, I was in New York last week in the plane. They just take your shit and throw it everywhere now, so hell. You do good to have a damn shoulder strap when you get off the plane. You know. Okay. October 16th. Very key. I talk about the Apollo religion, which is the key because Apollo is one of the only ones that give you the Congo, Africa, and the Mexican spirits, which is Olmec. There's a book, the book on Apollo, you can get from originalpublication.com, www.originalpub.com, the book on Apollo, which they didn't let in this country until December of 2002. And part of Cuba being shut down for those years because Cuba possessed Apollo. And Apollo is the strongest. Is the strongest and the only one now that's left that hadn't been usurped by thousands of people as a religion. You see what I'm saying? So one of the days in October is the god El Cristo Negro. And El Cristo Negro is worshipped in Puerto Rico as a festival on October the 14th. You see what I'm saying? And that's coming from Apollo, but also, not October the 16th. Also, on October the 16th is also the day that Osiris died. So any of these things represent spiritual times. The day of rebellion Set made against Osiris, March 22nd, that's the summer solstice. If you don't get into the mythology in the particular aspect of good and evil, you'll understand that all these are power days. The birthday of Set, which is key, because Set now is the pre-dynastic deity. Set is the deity that Osiris, Tahuti, Anubis, and Horus took their attributes from in the dynastic world. You know, it's customary for the new religion to call the old religion God the devil. Well, we started that in Hemmitt. Set is the primordial deity of all time. No god predates Set. He later on becomes the devil in the murder of Osiris, but he is the god where Osiris and them come from. Gerald Massey breaks all that down. But the birthday of Set is July 29th. That's real powerful. July 29th, because all these other gods come from Set. You see? And, you know, if you see, because you know, you're the only motherfucker still believing in a damn devil. White man done kicked us up the ass, got your niggas locked up in jail, and they putting them in jail to turn them into damn gay motherfuckers. What you hold it, look, why you think, man, when my man in the movie next Friday, when the guy came out, he was like, Tupac Shakur. You know, in the movie he was just jacking off on Tupac and all that. They doing that to turn them into gay. You see what I'm saying? That's a whole science. You see what I'm saying? High definition TV, and it's reports now, and this is what everybody in the industry knows, that all of your rappers, your top rappers, are bisexual. All of them. And all the niggas in New York know this shit. It's real big. They got stories. His mom was. Well, I'm just saying, all of them. You see what I'm saying? That's this metrosexual culture that the white boy is calling it. Metrosexuals. You ain't all the way man, you ain't all the way woman. You see what I'm saying? And stuff like that's the metrosexual thing. You see what I'm saying? It's very key. But my point here is, going back this July 29th is very key. You see what I'm saying? The festival of Isadora. Isadora is Isis, Auset. Her festival is August the 24th. Very key dates. I'm giving you these dates. That means whatever you go on your jump off thing where you need to deal with, you need to do it on those dates. August 24th, October the 16th, March 22nd. March 22nd. There's all kind of pagan book of days that you can get. There's a book, there's several books. There's one called a Pagan Book of Days. And it's a book you need to get to tell you every day got some stuff that's going on that we have lost. You see what I'm saying? What's that? Jeremiah's books, Ancient Egypt, Light of the World, Natural Genesis, and Book of the Beginning, the 6 volumes. They're very expensive. Is the books that you can get on the set. You can get this book here, The 7 Faces of Darkness by Don Webb. Gives you stuff on set. You can get Jeremiah's lectures that's affordable. It gives you stuff on set. If you want to get a book that gives you a lot of stuff on set, get Evolution, Origin of Religion by Albert Churchward. Evolution, Origin of Religion by Albert Churchward. Gives you a lot on set. Gives you a lot on set because he took Jeremiah's books and condensed them. So if you want to get really the origin of set and all of that type of stuff, get Evolution, Origin of Religion by Albert Churchward. You got to get that from the out-of-print book company, Kessinger's Books. Kessinger's Books. Kessinger's Books. Now, y'all all right? Okay. You also want to get The Science of Love by Dr. John Baines. Tell you what this love thing is about. The Science of Love by Dr. John Baines. Now, I did a tape called The Mysteries Babylonia and the Mysteries of Love and Sex. It's a very powerful tape. Everybody gets turned out, especially the sisters. They love it. But it really goes deep into some stuff. But what I want to say here is, some sisters shy away from it because they feel they don't have nobody in their lives, which is prevalent. Don't feel alone. You ain't alone, because that's 65 or 75% of all black women. That's a part of the condition the white man put you down here and stuff to make sure that we don't meet up. But in that book, in that tape, when I was talking this stuff, there was entities that was coming in and they were stopping me from doing the tape. Stopping me from doing the tape because they knew I hit upon something. That the mysteries to the end of the world is 2 poles of the universe. And the poles of the universe, when all these cycles go down, is the mating between the lingam and the yoni. The lingam and the yoni, which is the vagina and the penis. And they know that these two poles, but it's got to be the black vagina and the penis, and they represent the whole universe. So there was a whole lot of fighting going on. There was a lot of stuff was going on in the lecture, wouldn't let me finish the lecture, so it took us 8 hours to do 5 hours. But we did finish the lecture. It's called a Mysteries of Babylonia and the Mysteries of Sex. But I didn't put in there what I should have put in the tape. was for the people, especially for the sisters that don't have anybody, there's a whole realm of entities that is outside of the physical body, two aspects that you can tap into, and there's a book, Sexual Alchemy, that deals with those entities, and you can tap into. There's also this mystery, old loves. Anybody have had somebody you was in love with that made the transition? Those particular people that made the transition, you can love again. There's a sister that's calling me now saying, I'm in love with this brother, and the brother is dead. But all of a sudden, I'm feeling the same intense of love that I felt when he was alive. And I say, number one, that stuff never dies. What is really love, or what is really happening on the inside of you is not physical anyway. So if it happened and that's not physical, then obviously you can still have access to this. So my point here is there's several ways to deal with this particular science. I just want to put that out there. I want to put that out there, but for the ones, and one of the gateways to open that shit up is to get that tape, because it was a goddess that came to me for me to do the tape. Because I usually go to New York and I do one lecture, and then I do a sit-down tape. And the day that night, the brother called and say, you need to do, I got the tape, we're going to do the Mysteries of Love. And I said, well, I'll be damned. Now, when I was in St. Louis, I was telling about the Mysteries of Love, and this sister right here say, damn, that's a tape you need to do a whole tape on. And the brother called and said, Mysteries of Love. And I said, we're going to do it. And I didn't know what I was going to say. And that morning, right before the lecture, the goddess Ishtar, or Babylonia, or the goddess of love came, and she gave me all the stuff to get down with. You see what I'm saying? Of old science and different things I have, but it's also a tape that you need to get to tap into, and the sister Delbra has access to that, the goddess of love. I want to put that out there. Y'all all right? I just want to cover up some stuff, because I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave before I go into this aspect of some other stuff that's going down. I want to cover my bases. Before we go into this last little part about the heart chakra, we need to take a little question and answer right now, because I don't want the people to come with some questions and then leave and don't get a certain amount of things answered, because the questions are actually answers. So any questions right now on some stuff before we go into this last part? Any questions on some things? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also Hellboy was a movie where he was supposed to grow his horns and destroy the earth, but he ended up selling out for the government and cutting his horns back off and all that kind of stuff. So they're doing a whole lot of stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? And they showed you that the whole Hitler thing was an occult society, the Thule Society and all of that type of stuff. They showed you that. Also, tomorrow night, there's a play being at the 14th Street Playhouse. Apparently it's a play that a black woman put together. It's about a sister, you might have heard about this, was a woman who had a Hottentot booty that I think the British government cut off and glossed it and put it into a museum. Well, there's a sister that has a play. It's going to be, I think it's 8 o'clock tomorrow night. This is the name of it. That's her name. What's that? Sarah Bartman. Yeah. Is this it? The play. Yeah. It's at the 14th Street Playhouse, right? And here's this Hottentot woman, and they cut off her booty and put it in a museum. So the woman there's a sister that's going to be doing a play of it, and it's going to be an hour play and a discussion tomorrow night. Tomorrow night on that at the 14th Street Playhouse. You can go to that play tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Yeah, I just want to put that out there. Give me some more questions right quick. The American Idol? I was just interested that she was a sister. And ironic, she's from the same state that my white boy won from last time and all this type of stuff. And she had a certain energy about her that made it that everybody fell in love with. You know what I'm saying? So it's just showing you, but it was something that was going on that they wanted the white girl to win and all this type of thing. But the energy was so powerful at the time, so they had to. You see what I'm saying? They had to. The energy was so powerful. Yeah, what's that? Yeah.
What's the science behind that movie, Eyes Wide Shut? And the other question was, what about some black pros when you get a lot of visits from them?
Yeah, okay. It's a good question. Eyes Wide Shut is these elaborate sex rituals that they do, that the Illuminati and the occult people do, which then they just showed you what the inside of that in the movie Tom Cruise, Eyes Wide Shut. But I want to put this out there because the sister Babylonia, Linda, gave me another take on the Aaliyah thing. That although they said that Aaliyah died or her body was burned up in the plane, they actually kept Aaliyah alive, and these rich white folks would do her energies in the Quaker Mutana stuff, where they talk about they take a young girl and all these men, they lay with her to get her energy, these old men, these old white men, and they lay with her to get her energy. You see, that's exactly what we found out what happened with Aaliyah. They were sucking Aaliyah's energy. Aaliyah wasn't dead. They was holding her captive as a sex slave, or a person that they get her energy, because she was 22, which was my yacht, and they held her captive like that. So that was a thing that happened in Eyes Wide Shut. The crow also represents the black souls that's inside of a mentor, which also represents our souls. And every now and then the crows will come and they'll light on people's lawn and all on their house, and there'll be hundreds of them. But they say it's impossible for birds to light like that. Anybody know what light is? Means land. It's impossible for birds to land or light like that, and you don't have a whole lot of feces. So when they do that, it's spiritual. They landed on my house in '99. They landed on several people's houses and stuff. Like that, no. I think the year that the Sister Angela turned 50, which is the 50 Gates of Understanding, they landed on all over her house. Because the whole 50 thing, even the late 40s, there's a book called A Goddess in Older Women to deal with all that energy. To deal with all that energy, the goddess in older women. And they talk about sex men and all this kind of thing. The juicy, becoming a juicy clone and stuff, so that they landed on her house. So they do that for spiritual purposes.
I had one land on my head.
Well, shit.
He ain't do that. The white guy came and chased him off of him, but he just stood on top of my head on this hand right here.
That's amazing. Any more questions? What's that? I heard of him. Okay, cool. About what? Called what? The what? The Village. I don't know, but that's one. That's the same guy who did the signs and all of that type of thing. I don't. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I know that guy has got something to do with the Illuminati. Because when he did signs, they did all that great alien stuff just to tell people to go back and worship the Bible and go to sleep. Now, hell, I know damn well if a green man come up in my house God got some explaining to do. Ain't no more such about having some goddamn faith, and a green motherfucker came up my house trying to kill me. Obviously, the contract with the Bible done broke down. You ain't explaining, so you're omitting some shit. Like, take, for instance, the book of Jubilees. Now, they had this shit on the lost books of the Bible. And they went into the book of Jubilees, and it was like, excuse me, why was the book of Jubilees, there's a bunch of them. You can get the other Bible by Barnstones, but you can get the lost books of the Bible and like your Apocrypha. There's a book of the book of Jubilees, and they were saying, why was this book omitted? And they said there's a picture of Jesus standing, you know, whether you believe Horus or whatever, that's not the point. Because Jesus is an Egyptian name. Well, all we know it's not that historical person from Rome. It's inside of you. But Jesus is standing on the banks, and he's between heaven and hell, and a lot of people are going into heaven, and then there's some people going into hell, and there's one guy standing with Jesus. He's like, wait a minute, come on now. He said, these people down here suffering in hell. He said, I knew some of these people. They didn't do nothing that bad. The hell they doing suffering like? He said, I can't get with that. This is in the gospel, in the book of Jubilees. And Jesus turns around and goes, shh, they're going to get out of hell too. Now, the people in the church know that they can't put that in the books at the conference of Nicaea, because if you read that, you be like, well, what the fuck I'm doing worshiping? Because most of the people in church, because they're scared of going to hell. So that's the book they said, no, we can't put that up in there. But in there, Jesus was like, oh no, shh, they're getting out of hell too. Why? Because in the book it says this heaven and this hell gonna pass away. That's in the Bible. But that, and so they talk about those lost books of the Bible on that particular level, on how that whole thing went down. You say, what's that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Anytime you see the enemy or the villain in the books, it's not being contained as a villain in the superhero thing because it's evil. It's being contained because it's too strong for human inhabitation. So they have to contain it because the earth and this civilization, you see what I'm saying, is much more advanced than that. So they have to contain it on that level. So in so many words, it's giving them two mysteries. What you call evil is actually powerful. You see what I'm saying? Now they know what they're doing. It is not by mistake that in the 1960s, when they wouldn't put black people on TV, Eartha Kitt became a Catwoman. It's not by mistake that in this particular new one, what's her name becomes a Catwoman. And this is what I knew was powerful when she was told.